something that you may know or you may not know about the Vespers service. You remember how in Genesis it's written, there was evening and there was morning one day. So this is why the church reckons the beginning of the liturgical day in the evening. And the service of Vespers itself begins from this place of describing how God has made all things in wisdom. He has made all things good. He has preserved all things. But then what happens right after we've read that song, the kind of opening song, praising God for the goodness of creation, we go to, Lord, I have cried to you, hear me. And the Psalms turn to, out of the depths I have cried to you, O Lord, hear my voice. What this signifies, especially when Vespers is served in the winter, so we start at 6 o'clock and it's still daylight. But when we start the service during the summer, but you especially get the sense during the winter that you begin the service and it begins, maybe it's already getting dark, or it begins to get dark. And by the end of the service, we're in the dark. And so within the service itself, it's kind of telling the story of creation being created good and beautiful, and then humanity's fall, away from relationship to God, into the darkness. But then we begin to sing the hymns. And each day of the Octoikos, which are the hymns of the 8 modes that we sing, and also from the Menaion as we commemorate. So today we commemorated the great martyr Christina. We begin to see how within that darkness, even if it seems dim, that there is this light. And it culminates in us singing or reading the hymn, O gladsome light of the holy glory of the immortal Father. And so who is this gladsome light? It's Jesus Christ. So that within the darkness, the light shines and illumines everything. And that's why you'll notice we turn up the chandelier a little bit, we light the lampada's on the altar. In some cases, people would have, like on these lampstands, on either side, they would have the lamps that would be lit. And this is actually an incredibly ancient custom that predates Christianity. It goes back to Judaism, of having prayers at the lighting of the lamps in the evening and giving thanks to God for the light. And we know as believers that Jesus Christ is the light of the world that shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. And so, and then of course the service of Vespers progresses, and then what do we sing? Or in some cases read, is the prayer of Saint Simeon. Lord, now you let your servant depart in peace according to your word, for my eyes have seen your salvation which you have prepared before the face of all people. And so you see what's going on there. There's a commemoration, remembrance of the fall, because how could we not think of the fall as in the evening we enter into darkness? And then a commemoration of how the light of the world has come to illumine, even in the midst of our darkness, to bring light, to bring life, to bring truth, to bring joy. That's why the hymn is joyful light or gladsome light. In Greek it's phos ilaron, which means like joyful light that's come in the midst of the darkness. And then we conclude the service by saying, Lord, now you let your servant depart in peace, because you're here with us in the midst of the darkness. But we don't have to be afraid. And so in each Vespers service, there's something just in the structure of the service that's communicating about what we believe as Orthodox believers. So I encourage you to meditate on those things, to think about them whenever you come to the Vespers service. Amen.
Amen.